Alrighty, welcome. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for the last installment of the Entrepreneurial Teaching Artists series from the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable. We are so thrilled to have you here. This is The Art of Wellness. My name is Kinsey Keck. I use she, her pronouns. I am a white, non-disabled person with shoulder-length brown hair. It's halfway up in a bun on top of my head today. And I'm wearing my large metal framed glasses and a purple V-neck t-shirt. And I'm sitting in my bedroom. There's a picture of lemons behind me in a frame. I'm also the programming and membership manager for the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable. So the Roundtable is a grassroots service organization working to improve and advance the state of arts education through professional development, advocacy, and online resources, bringing together the arts education field. Although we are currently meeting online, the Roundtable would like to take a moment to acknowledge that we work and live on stolen land. So the place that we call New York City exists on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded lands of the Canarsie, Lenape, Munsee, and Wappinger people. So we'd like to give a moment of respect to them, as well as to the Black and immigrant communities which have helped build the city that we know today. As we travel in their footsteps, we must acknowledge that all of our pasts, presents, and futures are intertwined. Thank you. So I'm just going to share a few quick reminders and then we're going to get started. If at any point during this you're having any trouble with Zoom, please just send me a private message. I'm here to help. Please do remember to keep your mic setting on mute unless you are the person speaking so we can hear everyone clearly. We do encourage you, of course, to use the chat box to ask questions, share resources, and connect with everyone on the call. That transcript and all the resources in there will be shared with you again in a follow-up email in the next few days. This call does include closed captioning while we're here in the main room. You can turn those on by just clicking live transcript on your toolbar and select show subtitles. I also want to note that this session is being recorded. You will also receive a link to view it once it's edited and put up on the Roundtable's YouTube, Vimeo, and website. And I think that's it. So without further ado, I am thrilled to turn it over to our presenter today, Renee Reid. Welcome, Renee.
Hi, everyone. I am super excited to be here with you guys. If you will indulge me for a moment, it's the yoga teacher in me. Actually, I'm doing this more grounding for me but I think it'll be great for all of us. So if you will, just for a moment, wherever you're sitting, just sit up nice and tall. Relax your shoulders down. Place your hands in your lap with the palms up so that we're ready to receive all this positive energy that we have in this room. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes or lower your gaze. We're just going to do a couple of deep breathing exercises just to help us to center and refocus. So let's take a big inhale through our nose and hold it right at the top for 1, 2, 3, and exhale. And once more, inhale and hold for 1, 2, 3, and exhale. And last time, inhale, take the biggest breath you've taken all day and hold at the top for 1, 2, 3, and exhale. Thank you. Thank you guys for indulging me. My name is Renee, and I am going to share my screen with you. I think, Kinsey, if you could help me.
You have screen share capability.
Okay.
So at the bottom of your screen, there's a green button that says screen share.
All right.
You should be able to select your presentation.
Yay, there we are.
There we are.
Yay. Okay, so this is, like Kinsey said, the Art of Wellness. And my name is Renee Reid. I am a certified diabetes lifestyle coach and a bunch of other things that we'll get into later. So I want to welcome you to the Art of Wellness, and this is actually designed to help the Artpreneur, which is you and me, to begin to take this journey of self-care so that we can better share our art with the world by taking care of ourselves. So I want to ask you a question. As a creative, have you experienced any of these symptoms? Anxiety, sleepless nights, burnout, depressed moods? I'm going to raise my hand because yes to all four of those. But if you answered yes, I just want you to know that you are not alone. Anxiety, sleepless nights, burnouts, feeling a little sad sometimes kind of goes with the territory of being a creative, but it doesn't have to define how you move through your creative journey. So we are all on this constant grind of promoting our work and dealing with the criticism of our work. And this can really take a toll on us physically and emotionally. But what I want us to know is that we can get off this roller coaster of unwellness and start pursuing, because pursuing our art does not have to make us unwell or unhappy. So why is self-care so important? You can drop an answer in the chat if you'd like. Why do you think self-care is so important? Well, in the US, chronic diseases such as heart disease, cancer, and diabetes are the leading causes of death and disability. And these are lifestyle diseases that we can actually control by how we live our lives. So through physical activity, nutrition, watching our alcohol intake, and our tobacco use. The CDC estimates that there are 122 million people in the US alone who are now considered either pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic. So engaging in a self-care routine is actually one of the tools that we use to reduce our stress, improve our concentration, minimize our frustration and anger, and increase our happiness. But self-care should be important to us as creatives, because without it, our relationships are affected, definitely our finances, our mental and physical health, and also our ability to reach people with our art. So this is my definition of self-care. Self-care is an action you choose to engage in for your mental, physical, emotional, social, or spiritual well-being, and it creates change in your mental energy. And these are some other benefits of self-care, but the one I want us to focus on is the one that I have highlighted, which is self-care provides us with greater patience and self-compassion. And when you're dealing with, in this creative space, patience and self-compassion are two things that we need to keep going, especially when we are dealing with not only the negative self-talk that we tell ourselves, but also the negativity that's in the world around us. We definitely want to make sure that we have enough self-compassion so that we can keep going forward and creating our work. So today we're going to talk about what self-care is not. We're going to help, or I'm going to help you design a wellness program you can live with. And we'll also talk about the importance of a morning routine. So the wellness program that I'm going to help you with will not include any cardio suggestions or what you should be eating or meditation tools for the day. So this is me. This is after a photo shoot I did for a book that I have coming out soon. I'm a writer. I am a podcaster and a yoga teacher and a doctoral candidate. So I'm working on my doctorate in education. And when I'm not pursuing my art, I work in the field of social services. So I provide community mental health services to teens and adults in their home or in a treatment facility. So this topic is, why is this topic important to me? I want to tell you guys a little story. So once upon a time, there was a multi-passionate artpreneur who thought she was okay and that she was taking really good care of herself. But her body told the real story. Because the truth is, our body reveals our truth even when we try to hide it. This multi-passionate artpreneur was in a constant grind of full-time employment while trying to schedule podcast interviews and meet her deadlines for her doctoral studies, writing assignments, and completing her yoga certification. Don't ask me why she decided to do a yoga certification and a doctoral program at the same time. I would not recommend it. But one day during a routine physical, she was told by the evil doctor, just kidding, that she was 43 pounds overweight and had developed pre-diabetes and pre-hypertension. So if you haven't guessed it, the multi-passionate artpreneur is me. And learning that I had developed pre-diabetes and pre-hypertension was especially devastating for me because of my family history. I have already lost my grandmother, my father, and my younger brother to heart disease, and my mom from complications from MS and diabetes. So I encourage you guys, if you don't know your family's medical history, that you get to know it really well, because it is a really great indicator of where your health journey might lead if you don't make changes now. And a lot of families are very secretive about their medical history. They will talk to you about sex, drugs, and alcohol, but they will not share any diagnosis that they have. And that is the information that you really need to have a really good outlook for your own physical health. So my solution to combat these life-threatening chronic illnesses was to go on a diet. So you don't have to answer, but just think to yourself, how many diets do you think you've tried in your lifetime? I counted the other day and I have done 23 diets that I can remember. None of them worked. Well, all of them worked for the time that I was on them, and then soon after, it was a disaster. So there was a study that says that by the time a woman is 45, she will actually have tried 61 diets in her lifetime. So that is a lot of time spent thinking about and rethinking about what we're eating and what we're not supposed to eat. A lot of energy that we're wasting. So I tried, these are just some of the diets that I tried. I tried the cabbage soup diet because my mom used it, my aunts used it, so that was something I knew. Very boring after a while. I tried the cayenne pepper and maple syrup cleanse because it worked for Beyonce. So I figured if it worked for her, it should work for me. And I was very hungry by the third day just drinking this concoction. I tried the prepackaged food diets. You know, those are the meals that get delivered to your home every month. I tried the 2 shakes and eating 1 meal, diet. That did not work out well at all. And then when I was completely frustrated and just didn't know what else to do, I just tried not eating. So I tried doing a fasting routine, which just left me weak and angry. And all of these diets left me feeling defeated and in some cases even heavier than I was when I started, because that's what diets do. They're great while you're on them, but maintaining those diet plans for a lifetime can be really difficult. So creatively, I couldn't work. I didn't podcast, or I stopped writing. I stopped communicating with other people. I didn't want to engage with them. I basically shut myself off and just focused on my next diet plan. And so I took a break from podcasting, which I really loved. And it was just a really sad time for me, but not only for me, for the people who had come to rely on my podcast every Wednesday, and also for my family who was just tired of me being so mean and angry to them. So I had to realize that I had to change my definition of what being healthy means. So yes, being healthy means that we eat nutritious foods and we have a well-rounded diet. But one piece that I was missing from the puzzle was self-care. And self-care is simply the self-love that we show ourselves, regardless of what state our bodies are in. When you can show your body that type of high level love, even when you're 20 pounds overweight or 43 pounds overweight like I was, you will see your self-confidence increased. And that's what happened. When I stopped worrying about my diet and how many times I went to the gym and just started to appreciate where I was on my journey, I began to work out because I enjoyed working out. And I started to watch what I was eating because I wanted to feed myself good food. And my self-confidence increased to the point where my podcast won an award. And now I have authors and other creatives reaching out to me for podcast interviews. And then I started taking on bigger projects. Like one of the things was submitting a proposal to be in this conference. And this is something I never would have done the old me 43 pounds ago. Probably because I would be sitting on my sofa wondering what I was going to eat or not eat at my next meal. So self-care is the self-love that we show ourselves, and it's something that we are the only ones who can give to ourselves. So my question to you is, what is the one thing that you can start doing today to show yourself more self-love? And you can type it in the chat, or you can write it in your journal, with whichever you feel more comfortable doing. I love this mug. I think I'm going to get it, have it created somehow on, on a cup. But just reminding ourselves that self-love is not selfish, it's for us. So now we're going to talk about what self-care is not. And when I talk about self-care, I'm using it kind of interchangeably with wellness, because it's part of your wellness journey and part of your wellness program. So self-care is not a string of runs, swims, and weight training sessions. And it's not starting a new eating plan every Monday like I did. And then by Friday, hating yourself because you didn't perform the way society says you should perform, you should have performed, and now you don't look the way society says that you should look. And self-care is not just getting a massage or a manicure or a new wardrobe or a new hairstyle. Those things are wonderful, and they are part of, or can be part of, your self-care, but that's not the whole package. Your self-care is a work of art, and it should help you to strengthen not only physically, but spiritually and emotionally. And some practitioners also include professionally and social self-care as well. So self-care is not just how we exercise or how we eat. It has to encompass all of us, the whole being, and that is what makes it successful. And that's what makes it possible for you to keep going, because even doing a self-care routine is not always going to be fun or exciting. But when you start to realize the benefits of taking care of yourself, then you will keep going even when it gets hard. So how can you design a wellness or self-care journey that will not leave you overwhelmed or frustrated? So first, let me say that creating a self-care or wellness plan is not easy. As with anything in life, if it were easy, everyone would be doing it, and the United States would not have the highest rate of obesity in the world today. So it's not an easy thing to do, and we are all juggling really busy schedules. We are in school, some of us, we're working full time, we're trying to create work and promote our businesses. And so leaving time or trying to create time for self-care can be really difficult to accomplish in a day. And like I said, we're living busy lifestyles, so we can say that we're too busy to take care of ourselves. We can say that I don't have time to, take a breath or go to a yoga class or drink more water or anything that you've decided or, that will help you to become a better version of yourself. But the truth is that if we continue ignoring our self-care, then we can make our existing chronic illnesses worse, or we could adapt. We could be diagnosed, like I was, with chronic illnesses that we didn't have before. So learning how to add self-care to your daily routine is much needed for your physical and your emotional well-being. So the tips that I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share with you 4 ways that you can create your wellness plan. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you how to work out or what to eat or how many minutes you should be meditating each day. But you should be doing all 3 of those things. What I want you to focus on is, number 1, make sure that you are scheduling your self-care. Your self-care is an ongoing journey, and so you might try something and you don't like it and you'll replace it with something else. So you want to make sure that you continue to schedule that time so that you can make the adjustments as needed. But also, when you schedule that time, remember that we schedule everything else in our lives. We schedule time with our family, with our kids and our grandkids, with work, with social obligations and community work, and everyone gets a piece of us until, we're depleted. So to avoid burnout, and overwhelm and all of the things we talked about earlier, anxiety, depressed moods, you really need to set aside some time to think about your self-care and to schedule it. So mark it down in your schedule. At the beginning of each day, I have a morning walk that I do. Sometimes I take my dog, sometimes I don't, but it's a non-negotiable part of my day. So my family knows that between 6 and 7 a.m., I will be in the metro parks walking, and that if they want to have a good mom and a good wife, they will let me do that. So schedule your self-care. The second thing, and this was something that I just started doing with my clients. So my clients are people who have dual diagnosis of a mental health diagnosis. Some of them also are struggling with drug and alcohol addiction. And then I have a group who also now have a chronic illness that we have to help them to track and deal with. But the one thing that I like to help them do, and what I would encourage you to do, is to start keeping track of the compliments that you receive. Believe it or not, this is part of your mental self-care, because we have so many negative emotions coming at us from within ourselves, but also from the outside world. So it's really easy when you get a compliment to brush it off and say, oh, thanks, but, it's not that important. But actually, it is important. So start keeping track of those compliments. Start writing them down in your journal. so that you can remind yourself of them when you have a low period in your life. Compliments are a great reminder that you matter. And that's what we all need, especially now when some of us are still on lockdown, some of us are, out and working, but this pandemic has really shifted our ability to connect with each other. And so we all need a reminder that we matter. And so compliments, keeping track of those compliments will help you to do that. And the third thing is to get rid of the clutter. Clutter can drain you physically and mentally. And I know that there might be some of you who are saying, but I know where everything is. And that could be true, but you will find that as you start to move things into their proper place, as you have a space, cleared space to work and to really let your creative juices flow, that you will also eliminate or reduce your stress levels, and you'll have more mental headspace to really think about what it is you want to write, or what choreography you want to do, or what photos you want to take. So I had a client who was a bit of a hoarder, and this step was very hard for her, because we attach feelings to the things that we collect. And so when you attach those feelings, that makes it harder to get rid of. But when you reduce your clutter, you're able to create and connect and share what you create with the world. So think about, start small. If this is hard for you, start small, and maybe you start with a closet. Maybe you just start with one drawer in your dresser and you organize that one drawer. And then you let yourself sit with that for a moment. And when you're comfortable, you move to another drawer. So none of these things are things that you need to jump into and do right away. You want to make sure that you're comfortable doing them so that you can continue doing them. Sometimes we jump into things like, the cayenne pepper and maple syrup diet, which was a big mistake. And that just makes us feel overwhelmed and defeated. So start small and work your way into a bigger space. And this, believe it or not, is really hard for some people to focus on themselves. Now, I'm not saying that you should live every day focusing on yourself, but just doing one, and I call it a selfish act, just doing one of those can work wonders. If you're struggling with your self-care, it could be because you are so busy giving yourselves to others. And that's what we, as creatives, that's what we do. We give ourselves to others, every single day that we are creating our work, that we're sharing our work, that we are promoting our businesses. And what happens is we don't have enough energy left for ourselves. And so it's important to honor our self-care by just doing one thing that makes you happy. And so your one thing could be reading a book. Your one thing could be like, my one thing every day is to take this walk. And taking this walk sets the stage for my whole day. So think about one thing that you can do to help yourself to honor who you are and to remind yourself that you matter in the world. And now I want to talk to you guys about your morning routine, because to get those 4 things, to work them into your day, it's easier if you have a morning routine that you do on a daily basis, or if not daily, as often as is comfortable for you. But your morning routine will set the tone for your day. And I'm sure you've all had those days where you get up late. You didn't pack your lunch, you didn't figure out what you were going to wear, and now you're late, traffic is bad, and now your whole day is ruined because you didn't have a good start. So having a really good morning routine will help you to reduce your stress, increase your productivity, and promote some inner calm, help you stay focused. If you are like I used to be, jumping out of bed and grabbing a caffeinated beverage, and Lord help the barista who messed up my large coffee with 4 creams, 4 sugars, and 1 pump of French vanilla. Let's try something different. Let's be a little bit more intentional about starting our day. And so this is what creating a morning routine will help you do. Creating a morning routine will help you to become more intentional about your entire day. It'll help you to figure out what you want to have in your day, what can stay, and the tasks that you want to eliminate or put off to a different day. So when you're creating your morning routine, you want to ask yourself these questions. What fills me up? What gives me energy? So what activity can I do in the morning that will give me some energy to take through my day? What's an activity that makes me happy? What's something I can do that would make me feel the most prepared for the day? So you want to remember that your morning routine is customized to fit your needs and desires. So I don't know if there's this thing called, now I can't think of the name of it, but I think for 75 strong or something like that. And you get up every day at a certain time and you have these tasks that you have to complete. One, I think, read a nonfiction book, work out, maybe meditate. I forgot all the tasks, but there's these tasks that you have to do. And I saw that all these people were doing it and they were all boasting about, yes, and I lost weight and now I feel more focused and I'm calmer. And that I tried that routine, and by the 3rd day I was a complete wreck, because that was not my routine. Yes, I want to get up and walk in the morning, but I'm not an evening exercise person. And so working out twice a day is not my cup of tea. And if you miss one of the tasks, then you have to start the whole program over. So you don't want to make sure that your morning routine is for you. So it is customized for you and it fits what you want and what you need and desire. So here are some of the things that your morning routine could include. Like you could include reading or stretching, having a snuggle with your pet, I have an English bulldog. His name is Winston Churchill. And he kind of looks like him. So I love to snuggle with him, even though he gets hair all over me every single time. But he is the one person in my day who is happy to see me no matter what. So I love him. But maybe you get up in the morning and you like to sit and create your to-do list. Maybe that is the thing that makes you feel more prepared for the day. Some people like to get up and meditate. Meditating for me is not good first thing in the morning because I will probably fall asleep. But maybe for you, meditation is a good idea. Maybe you like to do a crossword puzzle or read the paper. Now, I'm not sure if papers are still being delivered. I think everything is online, but maybe reading the paper is your thing. Maybe you like to get up and tidy your space. When I get out of bed, my husband makes the bed. Like he can't start his day unless the bed is made. Me, not so much, but that's his thing. Maybe you like to sit and enjoy the quiet. I have a friend who gets up at 5 a.m. before her husband and teenagers get out of bed and just sits in her family room for 30 minutes just to enjoy the quiet of the day before, all the hustle and bustle. And maybe you like to journal or, write in your gratitude journal. Some people like to get up and start their day with 3 things that they're grateful for. And that's a wonderful way to start the day because that helps you to focus on the things that you have and not so much on the things that you don't, especially if you're trying to start a business, with your art or with your writing or, like I am with my writing and my podcasting, and it's going a little bit slower than you would like, not generating any income, then writing in your gratitude journal could really be a great way to help you focus on the great work that you're doing and help you to understand that the financial rewards are coming. So the thing that I want you to remember is that self-care is not selfish. If you want to productively continue this grind of, and when I say grind, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a way like getting things done and making things happen. So if you want to continue getting things done and making things happen and creating and promoting your work and building your business, then you must take care of yourself. And your self-care or wellness journey is not a cookie cutter, one size fits all. So just because your friend is going to spin class or someone started karate or someone else that is, doing a marathon, that does not mean that you have to do that unless you want to. You want to design a program that will help you to continue the move forward. This program, like I said, is a work of art, and it is designed to help you become your best self. And finally, I want you guys to remember that the world needs you and your creativity. And if you don't take care of your mind and your body, you risk burning out and suffering from some serious health issues like I did. So give yourself permission to start making time for yourself and your self-care practices today. Thank you. So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Hi, Renee.
Hello.
My soulmate is having some serious health problems, which is making me having to put my energy to help him.
Okay, yes.
I've been really having a hard time these last couple of months because all of that time is being spent to him, and I absolutely love it. But I am finding myself getting a little burnt out just because there's not enough time in the day, plus working full time.
Right.
So I'm trying to be a good coach, you know, and I'm just recently stopped doing everything for him to see if it will help him to strengthen up, you know. So
yeah,
that's
I think
kind of a tricky balance.
it is a tricky balance, and caregiver burnout is real. I'm currently taking care of an elderly aunt who doesn't have children, and so she was sick. I had to literally drop everything and move home from Atlanta. But what I've learned is it's okay to delegate that to someone else. If you have another friend or a relative who can help you, you don't have to feel guilty or because you want to delegate that to someone else. And that will help with the burnout, and it'll help you to find, even if it's just 30 minutes of time, between work and coming home and starting, all the activities that you have to do at home. That's going to help you to reduce that stress. So try to find, we call them professional or personal supports. So try to find some professional supports. Sometimes through your insurance, you can get a home health aide to come and help, depending on what the chronic illness is.
Mm-hmm.
And that has helped wonders with me and my situation,
Thank you.
You're welcome. I can't see the chat, Kenzie.
We don't have any questions at the moment, Renee, but
Okay.
Valerie did share. Thank you so much for your informative workshop. I feel like I'm on the right track. I recently lost my spouse, and adjusting to this new normal has not been easy, but each day is a blessing, and I approach it from that perspective.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Valerie.
And here is another, I'm so sorry if I say your name incorrectly, Yasmin or Yasmin, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Great. She says, Renee, thank you so much. This was such a great reminder to slow down. I'm also working 2 jobs and getting a master's. So thank you for sharing your journey of slowing down and taking care of you, all caps. This session, this session was really inspiring.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, please slow down.
And Anupama said, I was becoming more relaxed just listening to you, and I may reach out.
Oh, awesome. Please do.
anyone else who'd like to share a question or just, a takeaway, please feel free to put it in the chat or come off of mute. We're a cozy group here, so we have plenty of space to chat if you would like to say something. I have a question, a direct message to me. A question is, are there any support groups that you can suggest for teaching artists? Do you happen to know of any support groups for TAs or people getting interested in self-care?
Not right off the top of my head, but I would check like in your area. And you know what? The thing that I found is that if there isn't a group, start one. Start a group. There was nothing in this area for people with prediabetes, and I just started a group. Just reached out to some friends on my Facebook page, and now we talk each week. So yeah, if there isn't a group that in your area, just start one.
I can also share that the Roundtable on our Facebook, we have a Facebook group that's called, what is it called? Teaching Artists of New York City. And we have over 2,000 members of that group, and they post all sorts of things. So there's, opportunities that people share, but there's a lot of opportunities there for just folks to connect with each other as well. So I just popped a link in the chat for that if you'd like to join the group. It's a lively bunch, and there's a lot of folks, and I think it's a really great, community building tool, especially since most of us anyway, are still virtual right now. All right, and Catherine shares, thank you so much. I'm a dancer and navigating a health issue currently. This was also inspiring to me to be kind to myself and appreciate myself and my body and my life through this journey.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Self-compassion, I think, is the number one tool for creatives. We don't show ourselves enough.
All right, well, I think that might be it for
right.
questions and comments, but is there any last words you'd like to share with all of our folks here with us, Renee?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. This has been a really great experience for me, especially after the lockdown, being away from, interacting with people on a regular basis. I think the one thing that I would like you all to remember is, two things. Number one, you can never show yourself too much compassion. We're so free to give that to other people, but we withhold it from ourselves, and we need to show ourselves more compassion. And the second thing is don't be afraid to ask for help. We aren't meant to do everything by ourselves. Asking for help will reduce your burnout. It'll reduce your stress, and it'll give you the space you need to create. So ask for help.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I personally, I need that reminder all the time. So I appreciate you sharing that today. And this is such a great way to end the week too, for myself, and I hope for you all who have joined us. So a massive thank you to you, Renee, for sharing this time with us. And I want to say one more thank you to, yes, every week Anu, thank you. I want to say also thank you so much to the Teaching Artist Affairs Committee of the New York City Arts and Education Roundtable who put the series together. I will be reaching out to you all in the next few days, I guess early next week, with a link to the recording to this and any materials that will go along with it. And please always feel free to reach out to myself or anyone else at the Roundtable if you